Welcome to First Mover, your first global look at today's action in the Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital asset space. I'm your host, Christine Lee, and joining me is my co-host, Managing Director of International Content, Emily Parker. Lawrence Lewitinn is out sick. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Christine.
Bitcoin's waking up. Bears are getting quite a lashing this morning.
Absolutely. I mean, some people expected to see this actually. A few days ago, CoinDesk reported that a short squeeze was coming and that we might expect to see a rise in price. So there were some people who this wouldn't come as a complete surprise to.
Yeah, massive short squeeze. We're seeing Bitcoin shooting up above $39,000 earlier for the first time since mid-June, heading for its sixth consecutive day in the green, all because liquidated positions, people are trying to get out, which is bringing the price back up rather. And, even though CoinDesk reported that, an Amazon rumor may have something to do with maybe Elon Musk. I'm not so sure that is maybe in the context of an institutional story where we're seeing more mass adoption, that could fit in. But that's my take on that. And FTX is also lowering their leverage 100 times to 20x, and it's a tiny fraction of volume and positions they say. Right, that's right. So so that could be affecting people who realize that they have open positions and may have to close out of them, which could also contribute to a price jump. All right, let's check in with the crypto markets update.
The crypto markets update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
Live look at Bitcoin. The Coindesk Bitcoin price XBX index currently trading at $38,300. Bitcoin shooting up about 12% currently. And the Coindesk Ether price ETX index is at 2331. ETH also soaring about 8.5% over the past 24 hours. And the new DFX Coindesk's DeFi index is at 522. DeFi up about 11% over the day. The most reliable reference prices for institutions since 2014 are now published under the CoinDesk brand, trusted globally as a leader in crypto news, events, and data. So certainly when Bitcoin moons, so does the rest of the crypto markets. And joining us now to discuss is Ben Flavin, Global Head of ETFs at BNY Mellon. Welcome to the show, Ben. So I'd love to hear your analysis on why Bitcoin is spiking right now. Is it due to the short squeeze?
Well, there's certainly been a lot of speculation that it is a short squeeze, certainly on some of the comments that were made last week, but coming out of the conference as well, that seemed to be causing some of the problem. But what we also are seeing, is on the back of that, quite a bit of volume in the ETF space, specifically in those products that are listed outside the US, in Canada, and a few of the markets in Europe. And ultimately seeing a spike in volume, but the products, actually acting just as they were intended to do, really tracking the price of spot as the market moves upward, but also providing a liquidity valve for those investors as well.
Good morning. So it's been kind of a dull summer until now. Do you expect this to last, this spike, or do you think we're going to go back to the prices that we've been seeing for the past few weeks?
Well, it's hard to speculate, and you're right. Certainly we saw volume go as the price, of the underlying, went down, a little bit earlier this year. We're starting to see some of that pick up. Ultimately, I think this is a healthy sign of the market. Obviously, very difficult to see where this is going to go, but ultimately, I think seeing the market sort of rally back, ultimately, is again a healthy sign. But I think it's a little bit early to sort of spike the football that the rally is back on, just given some of the short-term moves.
Taking a look at the futures markets and open interest, as well as the options markets, any indication on what price direction might take?
Well, not exactly. I think, again, it's hard to read. But what is fair to say is that, given the interest, in the market, certainly futures are playing a large role as overall market infrastructure supporting cryptocurrencies generally. And I think that's a big piece of really the market. And again, in our world, we also see the same thing in the ETF market, where having derivatives and the open interest continue to grow is a sign that not only there's investor interest, but there's also institutional interest and demand for these products. And again, I think some of the that markets is constructive to support ETF. Those products either continue to grow outside the U.S. and I think is not the only thing, but certainly a key component to the regulators in the U.S. Becoming more comfortable with a U.S. listed product tracking Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies as well.
So Ben, last week, BNY Mellon, which is the world's largest custodian bank with some 41 trillion in assets under management, announced that it will begin custodying crypto. Was just speaking on this topic, was there a high demand to begin with from clients for a service like this to hold their crypto?
Yes. So we are incredibly excited with Grayscale. So that announcement that came out recently and made a lot of headlines is really exciting. And that is on the back of a tremendous amount of demand that we are seeing from our asset management and institutional clients for services related to cryptocurrency. So in the case of Grayscale, we are providing services, effectively the infrastructure to help support those products. So these are things like accounting and administration. And at the point when Grayscale is ready and the SEC ready to approve a Bitcoin ETF, we can tack on the ETF services that are needed that we supply for more than $1 trillion of assets that are currently on our platform for those products. So on the digital asset custody side, same story, really. There's been tremendous demand for both institutional and retail investors to assets their portfolio and try to take a forward-looking and progressive view towards these assets and made the announcement and we're working towards that to have a product in the market later this year.
Speaking of ETFs, if you had to guess, when do you think we'll finally see one in the United States? And what is the holdup still? What's holding it back?
I knew I was going to get that question. It's like the hot topic in the industry. Okay, look, we are 8 years into this journey already. Between the time that the first ETF was filed in the U.S. And if you were to think about it in the form of a progress bar, we're moving pretty far down the way. If you think about it, but we're not quite there yet. And I think the market has matured quite a bit since those early days. And certainly having the futures market, the market cap of Bitcoin itself and the other digital assets has grown quite substantially. So the industry has been hammering away. Really tough to speculate. I do think that it's clear that there's a regulatory framework that needs to be in place. Issues that are outstanding haven't quite been resolved. That said, it has not stopped the industry from really lining up. So that queue to become the first U.S. listed Bitcoin ETF is continuing to grow. I think we have 12 filings with the SEC now, and I think there'll be a few more before this is all said and done. But the timing is unclear. Again, I think it's definitely something at the earliest we would see at the end of this year, but likely into next year, depending on how the regulatory framework shapes up.
All right, Ben, that's very optimistic. We'll see about that Bitcoin ETF, and thanks for coming on the show and sharing your insights on Bitcoin.
Thanks again for having me.
All right, that was Ben Flavin at BNY Mellon. Coming up, we'll head over to Asia for a look at the daily forecast. Checking in on Bitcoin, the Coindesk Bitcoin price XBX index is currently trading at 38,187. Bitcoin shooting up 11.2% over the past 24 hours, and the Coindesk Ether price ETX index at 2321, also soaring 8%. And the new DFX Coindesk's DeFi index is trading at 521. DeFi also advancing 10.7%. All right, time now for the daily forecast, an update on what's happening in the Asia crypto markets. Here's Angie Lau of Forecast News.
Welcome to the Daily Forecast, July 26th, 2021. I'm Angie Lau, Editor-in-Chief of Forecast News, covering all things blockchain. Coming up, China's Bit Mining doubles down on its overseas mining business. Korean crypto exchange Upbit accused of illegal transactions. And Ethereum's creator joins the cast of animated crypto series Stoner Cats. Let's get you up to speed from Asia to the world. First up, one Chinese company has decided it is more likely to make a fortune mining Bitcoin than by winning the lottery. China-based Bit Mining, which was formerly known as 500.com, says it has exited the lottery-related business that it started out in to focus on its overseas mining business instead. Turns out mining Bitcoin is a little bit more lucrative. Bit Mining's Chinese lottery-related business apparently lost 9.8 million renminbi, or around $1.5 million in the first quarter of 2021. And the company says that due to the continuing losses there, it will now dispose of it entirely. The closure is not expected to have an impact on Bit Mining's financial position. Now, the New York Stock Exchange listed company began its pivot towards crypto mining in December of last year as Bitcoin prices boomed. And as part of that strategy, it acquired BitDeer's mining pool business, BTC.com, earlier this year. Meanwhile, a Korean lawmaker is accusing one of its own major crypto exchanges for behaving badly, engaging in illegal foreign exchange transactions. Lawmaker No Woong-rae claimed Upbit may have illegally circulated funds overseas using its affiliated companies in Singapore and Indonesia. No says that those affiliates are non-operating paper companies and that the police will soon begin an investigation. Upbit has denied all of the accusations. It's a uniquely Korean conundrum, though. According to Korean customs figures that were cited by the lawmaker, almost $1 billion of illegal foreign transactions took place in the first half of this year. 70% of that used virtual assets to do so. While Upbit fights this specific allegation, one expert told Forecast News that Upbit's case may not be an isolated one.
업비트가 1조가 넘는 환치기를 했다 그러면 다른 데도 당연히 했을 겁니다. 더 불법적인 것에 가담했을 것이고 아마 그것이 수사가 더 진행된다 그러면 잡아낼 것이다. 그러면 모든 거래소에 대해서도 좀 처벌을 할 것이다.
Kim says although strict new crypto regulations are not fully in place until September 24th, illegal foreign transactions using crypto can still be punished using the existing law. All right, on to the markets now. The first day of the Asian trading week, Bitcoin up almost 10% at just over $38,000. This on a mixed Asian trading day as Sino-US relations appear deadlocked. That's the word used by China's vice foreign minister as talks with his U.S. counterpart began, the first between both countries since March. That's as of 4 p.m. local Hong Kong time today. And in the top 10 for cryptocurrencies, Dogecoin and Cardano both up just over 9%. Cardano reportedly on the list of cryptos that Amazon is considering to accept payment after Bitcoin, according to an Amazon insider in a report by UK paper City AM. And finally today, for those not fully sure how cryptocurrency works, well, a cartoon cat could be set to help. You heard me right. Stoner Cats is an animated web series where 5 cats get advice from their taxidermied friend, Catsington. And Hollywood A-listers Mila Kunis, who's producing the series, and her husband, Ashton Kutcher, who features alongside her as the voices of 2 of the cats, have recruited a new best friend, you could say, to play the role.
Hey, babe.
Yeah?
What's Ethereum? So Ethereum is a general purpose blockchain.
Yep, that's Vitalik Buterin just hanging out in their kitchen explaining what Ethereum is. The series aims to teach people more about the world of crypto via names and voices they recognize and trust. The cast will all be paid in Ethereum, by the way, and if you want to watch, you'll need to buy an NFT via their crowdfunding campaign. So you got cats, NFTs, and Hollywood. A powerful crypto combo for the 21st century. And that is the daily forecast from our vantage point right here in Asia. For more, visit forecast.news. I'm Editor-in-Chief Angie Lau. Until the next time.
Thank you for that report, Angie. And you'll want to stick around because we have a exciting chat with Mila Kunis all about stoner cats coming up. You want to check in on that. But first, let's take a look at our global policy and regulation update with CoinDesk's managing editor, Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's The State of Crypto newsletter. Welcome, Nick. And so we've got a lot of hearings along the way this week. Tell us what's going on in DC.
Yeah, we have 3 crypto-focused, or at least 2 crypto-focused and 1 crypto-adjacent hearing starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. And when I say starting tomorrow, I mean they're all at 10 a.m. tomorrow, so it'll be fun. The Senate Banking Committee is hosting a hearing on what cryptos are good for, and one of the witnesses is Professor Angela Walsh, as well as CoinCenter's Jerry Brito. We have the House Financial Services Committee hosting a hearing on central bank digital currencies, which will feature Marta Belcher from the Filecoin Foundation. And the Senate Judiciary Committee is holding a hearing on ransomware and how exactly that's going down. So I expect crypto to come up there as well, with the focus on crypto as a payment mechanism. But, long and short of it is, we've been saying for a while that DC is going to be paying more attention to crypto, and that attention is here.
Nick, which of these hearings is the most significant in your opinion? Which one are you going to be paying most attention to?
I think they're all definitely important in their own way, but for me, the most interesting one will be the ransomware one, right? The other 2 are kind of framed as fact-finding missions around central bank digital currencies and crypto investments in general. And I think, they'll probably, there's a solid chance that we're going to hear some very interesting and, substantial arguments either for or against the idea of crypto. But, the ransomware argument is the one where we're seeing crypto, it's where I feel like we're going to see the most significant regulations or potential regulations out of crypto or towards crypto. And so that's what I'm paying attention to most, just because there is a risk or a concern that, crypto might get blamed for, basically helping ransomware spread the way it has in the last couple of months.
I'm also curious about Senator Warren because she has asked the SEC for a letter on their jurisdiction, their role in regulating crypto exchanges. Do we have any word on the latest on that? Are we expecting that to happen in a timely manner by Wednesday?
Yeah, Senator Warren did set a deadline of July 28th. I haven't heard anything yet on what the response might look like. But given that, this is an issue that SEC Chair Gary Gensler has already brought up a couple times during congressional hearings, it wouldn't surprise me if he does have, something already, ready to go, and that will be filed as the deadline hits. All
right. It's a busy week, Nick. Thanks for monitoring for us. That was CoinDesk Managing Editor of Global Policy and Regulation, Nick Day. Don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com. All right, and coming up, actress and producer Mila Kunis joined us to discuss her new NFT animated series, Stoner Cats.
The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Welcome back. I'm really excited about our next guest. Many of you know Mila Kunis from That 70s Show and the voice of Meg on The Family Guy. She starred in the films Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Black Swan, and now she's diving into the crypto rabbit hole, launching her own brand of NFTs called Stoner Cats with her business partner, Sound Ventures partner, Maria Bajwa. Earlier, I had a chance to speak to both of them, and I asked how Mila got interested in the crypto space to begin with. Have a listen.
Okay. It's a little bit of a long story, so I'll give you like the, elevator version. Ashton was into cryptocurrency 9 years ago. And it was,
yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you exactly what it was. We were having like dinner with Gary Vee at the time, and they were talking about crypto, and I was like, this is dumb. This is a bad idea. No, I don't understand this. You can't trust people. You guys shouldn't invest in this. Needless to say, neither one of them listened to me. And, everybody had a happy ending. But that's when it all began, was about 9 years ago. And I was like, no. And then as the years went on, I was like, I think I'm on the wrong side of history on this one. And in the past year, I would say that I embraced it wholeheartedly, but I was, it took me a minute. Like it is very similar to, it's a little scary in the sense that you're like, I think Gary equated it really well to the tech bubble in the 90s where people were like, this is just a fad. This is a trend. This isn't going to stick. This is just something. I think that I had the same feeling when it came to crypto. I think I was wrong.
It's interesting you mentioned Gary Vee because he is really into NFTs. And so that makes sense. You're launching over 10,000 NFTs. Anyone who buys one will have access to an animated short that you created. And the project is called Stoner Cats. And I've heard your husband explain how Stoner Cats came about, but I'd love to hear how you tell it. How did you come up with this idea? And how did you think to link it to NFTs?
Okay. So this project is a little bit me and a little bit Maria. And it's like, if we had a baby, it would be like this. So I don't come from the world of tech. I don't come from the world of crypto. I don't pretend like I do, right? Like I'm a consumer, but I can parrot information, but it doesn't mean that I fully 100% even understand it myself. So Stoner Cats was a concept of a show that we wanted to put out on, streaming or television broadcast and otherwise. And we were doing this during quarantine during COVID, and it became a really oversaturated market, the market of animation. And I was like, how do we stand out? How do we do something different? And how do we not have to comply with, rules and regulations when it comes to our show? We wanted to be very loud and very specific and very honest and true to its nature. And Mario works with Ashton, and they kept talking about these things called NFTs. And I know I sound like a crazy person, but I was like, what is an NFT? So this is 2 years ago. I was like, what's an NFT? And so then I got a beautiful explanation as to what NFTs were. And I was like, wow, this doesn't make any sense. So cut to COVID happens, Stoner Cats. And I was like, I wonder if I can make this into an NFT. So Maria lovingly was like, let me help you out. And helped, take this little train and truck it along in the world of tech and crypto and all the things that I knew nothing about. Really
most people in quarantine learn how to make bread, and you're making an animated short in NFTs. That's awesome. Maria, I'd love to get your...
I can also bake a challah like no one's business.
Very impressive. Maria, I would love to hear your role in the project. So a Stoner Cat costs about $850 worth of ETH, and they kind of look like CryptoKitties, the first ever NFT, coincidence or not.
Yeah, so we're actually working with Matt Flavin and Big Head Studios. He was sort of the creative genius behind both the CryptoKitties and NBA Top Shot. But the Stoner Cats themselves, it's our creator, our animator, Ash, who came from behind Toy Story 2. And we have this amazing creative team. They're the ones who actually created all of the content behind the show. And so the cost, it's launching on Monday. The cost is going to be 0.35 ETH. And so obviously the price of ETH fluctuates, but right now I think it's around 700, call it dollars, 0.35 ETH plus the price of gas. And if you purchase one of these NFTs, it gets you access to watch the content that we're creating. And each episode, the first episode, I think, is about 5 to 6 minutes long. We have an entire season written out of content that's going to be, call it about 45 minutes long total. And we're very, very excited about it.
Yeah, the
Arya is a badass. I just want
really...
to say to everybody, this woman is so smart. It's crazy. There's like a handful of women in this world of crypto, let alone in the world of NFTs. Maria should run the whole thing.
Behind every power couple, there's.
Wow. Yeah, sure. I'll
Behind
take her
every powerful
anywhere.
figure, there's a woman.
I'll put her.
Maria, the tokenomics are really novel. If you own a token, and am I getting this right? You get access to a Stoner Cat content, and if you sell your token, the new owner can't watch past content, but can watch new content.
No, so if you hold a token, you can watch any of the content that we release. Yeah. So in that moment of time, if you own it, you can watch past episodes, you can watch all the future episodes, whatever it is. So that token is really. Like the way that I kind of think about it is like it's like your login or your username or your access to a streaming network.
Okay, understood.
And also a little bit of like ownership in the content. Like you have like a little bit of
So you're upending the whole system in terms of Netflix, being the centralized mediator between content creators and viewers. You guys are eliminating the middleman in this new model.
Yes, so to speak. I do want to say both things can exist in the same world, but in the world that we're creating, yes, there is no studio, so to speak. So it goes directly to the artists. So it is all very transparent. Yeah.
Okay. I want to bring this up because
decentralized.
You said, speaking of which, there is a viral clip of you and Ashton. Let's play it a bit.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's blockchain?
It's like what information's stored on. So like, it's, what information is stored on.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's decentralization?
Oh, there's not one person in charge of anything. So it's everybody keeps everybody else in check. So there's not one big like unit or entity to uphold everybody to the same code. It's the people holding each other responsible.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's Ethereum?
So Ethereum is a general purpose blockchain.
All right. First, great explanation of decentralization. Second, what is Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, doing in your kitchen?
Okay. We may or may not be friends. This is the weirder part about the world that we all live in, okay? And when this whole idea was conceptualized, when I was like, I can do NFTs, how hard can it be? He happened to be having a meeting with Maria and Ashton, nothing to do with me. This was like their own little world of things. I got wind that he liked cats. And so I was like, I'm going to become friends with this guy. He seems fun and different. And
he speaks Russian.
We became friends. Yes, Russian and also like 7 other languages. Like he's incredibly brilliant. So we're in the same city at the same time. And everyone thinks it's funny because this all started with me going, can't we waive gas fees? Can we just waive them? I don't understand why can't we waive gas fees? And so the juxtaposition of Vitalik and myself when we're trying to talk about the same things made people laugh. So when he came over for lunch to hang out with us, Ashton thought it'd be really funny to make a video of like how I explain things and then how Vitalik explained things because it makes Maria and everybody giggle. And then he was like, I'm going to post this. And we were like, oh, okay.
Is he involved in the project at all?
Maybe. Maria.
Maybe.
Maybe.
TBD. Yeah, we'll be announcing more stuff throughout the weekend.
But not on the technical side. I want to be super clear. Not at all, nothing to do with technical whatsoever. Just more in like a funny way.
All right. But Stoner Cats has a manifesto, which blows my mind, and a bit of it I'll read. We believe that by using NFTs to reverse finance content, we can innovate and expand upon the old NFT model, maybe a strangely touching story about cats who get high and the woman they love coming to terms with her memory loss and her mortality can be our unlikely hero in the story of decentralizing entertainment. And this manifesto, it's quite deep. So what's your deeper philosophy of how NFTs work in the media world?
So, I mean, I think it can go, well, go ahead, Maria, Kate.
Well, so what I was going to say is I think for us, it's about connecting fans directly with the creators, and then also about enabling the creators to control the content that they make, right? And being able to see that from the content from ideation to production, being able to tell the story that they want to tell without having, a million people involved in that process and changing what the story looks like over time. And so I think a lot of it is just direct fan to, storyteller to audience communication and distribution. And then also the ability for fans to participate in what that content looks like and being able to fund the content that they want to see.
Yeah, I think we were initially talking about how studios sometimes force feed you content. Like there is a world where your options are oddly limited, where they try to predict what it is that you're going to like, and so you kind of get like these 7 options, and that is what you get. And so we're trying to, I guess, find a model where we're going to allow by people being able to purchase the NFTs to dictate what they want to watch. So the NFTs that you buy is the content that we would create. Ultimately, it's like what came first, the chicken or the eggs. And so we're trying to kind of see what this version looks like. If people purchase the NFTs, or rather when people purchase the NFTs, then that'll only make the show more successful. The more successful the show, the more successful your NFTs. So it goes hand in hand. So you do ultimately, as a viewer, have ownership within the content and say within the content.
Interesting. And I want to be respectful of your time, so I know we got to wrap, but I'll just mention that there's an all-star cast involved. Includes Mila, Ashton, Jane Fonda has just been announced, and more. We're looking forward to seeing that. And before we wrap, I just want to ask this question. Ashton sold his ticket to Virgin Galactic because you didn't want him flying to space. I wonder now, with Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson successfully going to space and landing, are you going to let Ashton go to space?
No. No, I should say, listen, I think it's really, I know there's a lot of backlash, oddly, for Bezos and for Musk going to space. I think that people are maybe interpreting it the wrong way. I do believe that all this was financed when we weren't necessarily financing NASA and exploration of space. And I do think it's really important to make this seem fun and exciting for young people to get excited about space and exploration of space and want to learn more and see more. And so I think that there's a version of this that I think people need to pump the brakes on. Yes, I think it's ridiculous, don't get me wrong, but I also think it's really important to shine light on the fact that it is important to have space travel, and it is important to keep exploring and seeing what's beyond our limits. Do I think that my husband needs to go into space? No, I don't. That's just my opinion, Maria. Yeah. What would you? Maria's like, I'd go to space. I'm asking the wrong person. Maria's like,
Tell him to give his ticket to me.
Yeah, exactly. This is the wrong person to talk to. Maria's like, I'm in.
I'll take it. I'll go to space. Mia, you're wonderful. I am so psyched that you are getting into the crypto space. So really looking forward to seeing the Stoner Cats. Mia Bajwa, Sound Partners, thank you for joining as well and giving us an explainer of what your project's all about. That was Mila Kunis, everyone. Check out Stoner Cats NFTs on sale July 26th at stonercats.com.
Thank you, guys.
I still can't get over that Jackie and Kelso are married. They're into crypto. They may go to space. Also, it has since been revealed that Vitalik Buterin will voice a taxidermied cat named Catsington on Stoner Cats. Another dream come true for Vitalik. Emily, pretty nifty new business model, huh?
Yeah, that was a super fun interview. But I mean, it could have really big implications for content and how content is paid for. So yeah, it's going to definitely watch this space.
Yeah, and if it does take off and artists realize that they don't need necessarily a middleman to make money, fund their content, it could definitely be revolutionary for the media world. Anyway, time now. All because of StonerCast paving the way. Time now to check in with crypto Twitter with our tweet of the day. This one from Crypto Student EU tweeting, "There's no better morning with the fresh smell of a short squeeze. Bitcoin with a classic Oprah meme. You get a margin call. You get a margin. Everyone gets a margin call." All right. That's it for First Mover. Thank you, Emily Parker, our CoinDesk Managing Director of International Content. I'm your host, Christine Lee. I'll be back live at 3 p.m. with All About Bitcoin. Coming up at noon is The Hash. You're watching CoinDesk TV.